While a special session has not been called, there is still plenty of buzz about that suggestion from Oklahoma lawmakers. With more on that and the progress of interim studies in both chambers, we welcome back eCapitol News Director Shawn Ashley. Shawn, earlier in this newscast, we heard Democratic lawmakers demanding a special session to address mask mandates and the repeal of Senate Bill 658. Does that have any Republican support at all?
I really don't believe so. When the bill passed back in May, only one Republican, Representative Ken Luttrell from Ponca City, voted against it. Now, I've asked Governor Stitt's office for their reaction to the Democrats' call for a special session and have yet to receive a response. But I think if you look back to May 28th, when the governor signed the bill, he also issued an executive order prohibiting state agencies from maintaining mask mandates and implementing vaccine requirements. In that executive order, he made his feelings about the bill known. This bill is important and has my full support, he wrote in that executive order.
Shawn, let's pick an interim study from each chamber that you find particularly interesting and potentially impactful to Oklahomans. And let's start in the House.
You know, there are several interim studies in the House dealing with medical marijuana, which is a relatively new industry in the state. One that looks particularly interesting was requested by Representatives Dick Lowe, Dale Curbs, and Carl Newton. And it wants to look at the agricultural concerns related to medical marijuana production, including its effect on land prices, the workforce and possible labor trafficking, impacts on rural utilities, and even pesticide drift.
How about in the Senate?
You know, I really like studies that give us a look behind the curtain at how state government works. And Senator Dave Rader's study on the state park system looks like it will do that. Senator Rader told eCapitol he wants the Tourism and Recreation Department to explain whether Oklahoma has enough state parks or whether it might need more, and how they would like to address that issue. Senator Roger Thompson and Senator Casey Murdoch's study on how the Department of Corrections decides which prisons to close also proposes a look behind the curtain that could be very interesting.
Shawn, the state's new film rebate program launches next week. What kind of impact are we expecting from that?
Proponents of this piece of legislation believe that it will have a significant impact on the film industry and economic development in the state. One of the problems with the existing program was that it was so small. This is a $30 million rebate rather than tax credit program. And its supporters said during the legislative session that this would not only attract larger film projects to the state, but potentially television series that accrue expenses over a longer period of time and at the same time have a higher economic impact in those communities where they're filming.
Finally, Shawn, the chairman of the Oklahoma Party, angered a lot of people with a social media post this week. Could there be repercussions for John Bennett?
A number of elected leaders, including the governor, Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell, House Speaker Charles McCall, Senate President Pro Tem Greg Treat, and our U.S. Senators Jim Inhofe and James Langford, as well as other elected officials, expressed disappointment in Chairman Bennett's remarks, but that has not moved forward towards removal of him from his position. We've also seen on social media some criticism by other elected leaders and the general public, but there's also been support among some members of the general public for what Chairman Bennett had to say. At this time, no formal action is being taken, so we'll just have to wait and see.
And we will wait and see. Shawn Ashley, thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome.